What is up, everyone? Vince Nero here from BuzzStream, and today I want to talk about the wild world of SEO. There's a Google leak. We've got AI overviews launched about a week or so ago. We got the helpful content. Things are crazy. This is probably one of the more wild times that I've seen in SEO in my time. And today I want to go over what this link means for digital PRs and link builders like you. But before I do, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to this channel. We put a lot of time and effort into these videos and helping you become the best link builder and digital PR that you can be. All right, let's get into it. I recommend you start with this Rand Fishkin article from SparkToro. Someone reached out to him directly and leaked over 2,000 pages of Google documentation on their algorithm. Rand did a great analysis here, and Rand worked with Mike King from iPullRank, and Mike King did an amazing analysis, ran through with his technical team to look at all of the documentation and really pull out some of these really important aspects here. But let's get into the link building stuff. So one of the things that this document talks about is laying out the indexing and ranking process that kind of looks at indirect document relationships. So for instance, if you have document A and that links to document B, and document B links to document C, Google can actually see that relationship between document A and C. Even though they're not linked directly, they do see that relationship. So people have been inferring from this the power of internal linking and how in a content-led digital PR strategy, you might build an asset, build links to it, and then from that asset, internally link to a power page, a money page on your site, thus sending that link value into your power page or money page. Because we all know that it's tough to build links directly to a site. And we've also just talked about in general the benefits of internal linking. I just feel like a lot of newer SEOs and some in the digital PR space don't recognize the power of sending those links and passing link values through pages. It's something we've talked about with Nate Matherson in one of our podcasts, which I'll link to. Cyrus Shepard has done some amazing research on the power of internal links and how many you need, what kinds and what types. I'll also link to that as well. So another thing this leak has unearthed is quality and authority measurements. So in the documentation, they talk about anchors, quality being measured by what they call bucket or locality. And as far as we know, this is essentially just like the categorization of an anchor. Furthermore, they also discuss how with certain anchors, they do look at reputable and high quality sites as carrying a little more weight. And they actually have this kind of like tiered system, it looks like, where they call it high quality, medium quality, low quality types of anchors. So lastly, there is a confidence and authority metric that is mentioned in there, basically highlighting that a page can boost the authority of a linked site. So none of this stuff is really new for digital PRs and link builders. We know that high quality and relevant sites are the ones that can really boost a lot of this traffic for you and provide a lot of SEO value, but it's just nice to see this in writing. Number 3 takeaway here is that anchor text context actually plays a role. So Google talks about capitalization, even punctuation playing a role in anchor text. So they do look at those things. And they also talk about looking at the words surrounding the anchor text, which again, this is something that we've seen in some of their Google documentation. And what I think this kind of boils down to is branding for your site can make a big difference. So if people are talking about BuzzStream and they're using the words like email outreach software, link building tool or something, and the surrounding words are email outreach software, link building tools, and link building software, whatever, Google is going to start to see and associate your brand with those other keywords and help you rank better. All right, number 4 here is authorship. Authorship seems to be recognized by Google and mentioned in this documentation. And the most important takeaway I'd say here is that a lot of people talk about authorship as it pertains to EEAT. And I do think there is a lot to take away from this idea that an author can play a role in kind of establishing expertise and authority in a topic, but it's not the end all be all. You're not able to just rank because you have an author bio on a page. That shouldn't be your takeaway. That's not what's going to move the needle. I do think authorship is important in the grand scheme of things. So Move on to the next one. Number 5, they talk about how redundant anchors get dropped. So if you do have a lot of anchors and links from the same domain, after a while, there is some type of threshold where Google's just not going to look at them. So where this pertains for link builders is this idea of getting repeat links from the same domain. This does matter for direct traffic. And again, that branding aspect. If you do get a lot of links from highly visible sites that get a lot of traffic and are bringing in clicks and traffic to your site, that's great. Like, you shouldn't stop doing that just because you see this. I think it's just important to know that there is probably a diminishing returns when you're talking about SEO value, like technically speaking, diminishing returns. So the next takeaway here is that the documentation does mention something called PageRank weight in association with links. So we all know PageRank is a proprietary metric from Google to measure the strength of a page and how well it can rank. But metrics like Moz's domain authority, Ahrefs domain rating, those do their best to simulate PageRank. So when you're talking about links and evaluating a page for links, whether or not you could get a link from it or how valuable that is as a page, it seems like those types of metrics do matter. So we can infer again that links are important. Another takeaway here is that Google does look at freshness and history of a link. This is really interesting to me, and it really just backs up this idea that digital PR is a great play. So essentially what the documentation suggests is that newer and frequently updated backlinks are worth more. So strategically, that kind of means that older posts, maybe ones that you might do link insertion on or broken link building, resource page link building, those older posts that are stagnant and just kind of buried in a site, they're not going to be worth as much, at least according to the documentation. I've discussed this a lot in my link insertions video and just placing links in old posts and how that's not the greatest way to go. But it seems like the flip side of this is the high authority sites that do provide fresh content on a daily basis are the ones that, according to the documentation, would be prioritized more. So that's like the bread and butter of digital PR strategy, is getting yourself seen on those high DA, highly visible, fresh sites like a news site. All right, so the last one is that clicks on a link actually play a role in this documentation. This one actually comes from Rand's post. Essentially what it says is that Google has 3 buckets, tiers for classifying link indexes: low, medium, or high quality. Click data is used to determine which link graph index tier a document belongs to. So essentially, if there's a section on a site that gets no clicks, then a link in from that section is not really going to be valuable. So again, we can actually roll this together with the previous one about page freshness. If you're not getting your links on pages that are seen, they're not going to be as valuable because people aren't going to be clicking on them most likely. So the TLDR of it all, I'd say, is all of this really boils down to the documentation supporting digital PR as a strategy. You've got quality and authoritative sites, highly recognized authors, having fresh content, and having highly visible content, which gets clicked on and leads to more clicks. So it brings me to my second conclusion here. You should be testing as much as you can. You should be reading case studies from other people to see what is working. Don't just take any of the stuff that I've talked about. I can say the documentation says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to do. But at the end of the day, what really matters is what's working for you. So always test your assumptions, read what other people are doing. Search Pilot is one I'd highly recommend checking out. They do SEO related A/B case studies all the time. We have a whole section of case studies and research and data studies that we do, but ultimately you're in the lead. You should be using data to support what you're working on, not just a list of leaked documents. All right, if you like what you see, again, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments. Good luck.